perception. Perception is a very, very important thing, again, and it's something that you can control. And I feel like if you control how you perceive yourself and you start perceiving yourself in a more positive light, if you start being a little bit kinder to yourself and giving yourself the benefit of the doubt, I feel like what this is CGR here with another entry into the Driving Wisdom series, Driving Wisdom number 2. Not sure about if we're gonna do subtitles or not, but yeah, for this one I want to talk a lot about perception, right? I think perception is really important, and perception is one of those things that there's one part of perception that you can control, and there's another part of perception that you can't control. So I made a post, a ghost post on Threads, and if you don't know what that is, that's one of those posts that you do that allows you to see, that allows you to say something only for 24 hours. People can respond to you as a DM, so it's anonymous, so people feel more encouraged to tell you something if it's going to be like, negative or something like that, right? So I made a post saying I wanted to know how I'm coming across to everybody, right? Because I'm just curious. I like to know, because I want to make sure that I'm able to serve people the best that I can, and I know I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I just wanted to know. And one response said that I was brash. I asked for elaboration. I didn't get any, so I didn't know what to think of it, but I didn't think anything of it. And then I got another DM saying that you think you're a loving person, but you're the opposite of loving, like you're the worst. Like, she didn't say I'm the worst, but she said like you're not a loving person at all, and you think you know what you're talking about, but you don't. And on the one hand, I can sit there and be like, well, what the hell is her problem? Like, what did I do to her for her to say something like that to me? Or like, I could have said what I wanted to say, which was, what's going on with you? Like, what's the problem that you're having today? Or what is it about yourself that you don't like that you're projecting onto me, right? In psychology, there's this concept called projection. And projection is basically when you place your own fears, inhibitions, or negative traits onto somebody else, right? And people do this very often, and I'm not sure if psychology has an answer for why they do that. But what I think is happening is that it's easier for somebody to find their faults in somebody else and blame them than it is to say, I have those faults and I want to work on that and I want to be better. And I think the reason for that is because it's so simple to go ahead and just blame somebody else for something, and then you don't pay attention to it. But I believe that there's something deep within you, deep within each person, that understands that, yeah, there is something in me that I don't like about myself. But if you don't pay attention to that inner voice, if you don't learn how to quiet your mind and just listen to what's going on and figure out if that's who you really are, which, newsflash, it's not, right? That's not who you really are. Like, all these negative things that we have, all these bad behaviors and bad traits, they're bad habits that we either learned from somebody else or we picked up or developed over a long period of suffering and feeling negative traits. And in a way, it's our ego's way of trying to protect us, right? So my point, what I was trying to say is perception. With perception, you can only control how you perceive yourself and others. You can't control how others perceive you. There are things that you can do to improve your perception. I'm pretty sure that there's people that are a little bit more studied on the topic of like neuroscience and the way the psychology of the mind works. And there's probably reasons why there's people that are just like very liked and loved by everybody, and then there's people that are not. And if you didn't know this about me, I used to be one of those people that was liked and loved by a lot of people ever since I was a young kid, for as far as I could remember, maybe into like early mid-college, like when I was getting my bachelor's degree. I was liked and loved by people, and it was basically I would say for no reason. I don't know, like now that I know better and I'm learning, there probably was a reason for that, but I didn't perceive myself as somebody who was likable or lovable. I just was being myself, I was being myself, and I didn't have any reservations about it. I didn't have any negative feelings about it. I was just being who I was. So, what happened was I took that for granted for a long time. And, I don't know if you believe in the concept of creating your reality around you, but if you think about it just from a logical perspective, if you have a certain belief about yourself or about the world, and those beliefs drive thoughts and drive feelings and emotions that are supporting that belief, what's gonna happen is, it's just like when you get a brand new car. Like I'm driving a van, but like when we first got we had a Toyota Prius, and when we first got it, we were really excited about it. All of a sudden on the road, you're noticing everybody and their mothers has a Toyota Prius. Was it that nobody had a Toyota Prius until we got it, or we just weren't perceiving it because it wasn't even on our radar? It wasn't something that we were thinking of, right? So perception is this powerful tool that we have, that we could make it work in our favor, or we can make it work against us. So the reason I brought up the negative comments, because there were a few positive ones, and actually I want to focus and highlight on the positive one. There was one where the person said, oh, I don't know, like how you're coming across, but I like your content, and you have a new follower now. So I was like, hey, thank you. That's awesome. That's great. I'll take all the new followers you can, because as a human being, I think it's safe to say that no matter who you are, even if you're the kind of person that says, I don't like people, I hate people, I don't want to deal with people, I think there's deep down inside, everybody would prefer to be liked and or loved than to be hated on, right? Because life gets a lot easier when people like you. If somebody likes you, they're more willing to recommend you to somebody, whether it's like you're looking for somebody to date. I know so-and-so, they're a great person, you should talk to them. This person needs a job. Hey, I know so-and-so, he could do it, give this guy a shot, right? But if people don't like you for no reason, it's the opposite. You don't get help, and it's very difficult when you live in the world with a bunch of people and nobody likes you, nobody's helping you, so I learned to become that character after a while, and it was unintentional, but it was because of the religious thing, where I was thinking that I was a piece of junk and I was not worthy and I didn't deserve love and I didn't deserve good things. And because of that, I told myself that so long, I embedded that belief so deeply within me that everything I did reflected that. I would act as if people don't like me, people don't love me. And so eventually it became a real thing. It became a real issue that I had, where I would meet people, things would be going good, and all of a sudden, like, they would just not want anything to do with me, or like ghost me, or like, just turn away from me. And at the time I felt really bad because I didn't understand what was happening there. But perception and the editing of your reality, maybe let's not call it creation, because maybe you don't want to give yourself that kind of credit. You don't want to say like, oh, like I'm God having a human experience, or I'm this divine being that's a powerful creator. Maybe that's not something that you feel comfortable saying, and that's fine. I'm trying to become that. I want to be that again, but I want to be that coming from a place of wisdom and knowledge, and not from a place of not appreciating and not being grateful for it. Because when I had it, I was not grateful for it, and I do regret. I regret that, but at the same time, I'm also grateful that I had that experience, because now that I've gone to both sides of the spectrum, being very liked and being very disliked, I can tell you with confidence that I'd much rather be very liked than very disliked. It's just so much better. It's so much easier. People support you when they like you. People will talk about your stuff when they like you. People will share content when they like you. So now I'm trying to tell myself that, it's never been true that people didn't like me. I came up with that belief. I came up with that energy, if you will. So if I'm the one that created it, if I'm the one that made that cursed life for myself, then I should be able to undo it or create a better version of it, because I don't want to be liked for nothing. I want to be liked for what I do, for what I'm able to do. But then again, if you're learning anything about loving yourself, one of the key ingredients to loving yourself is to just love yourself regardless of what you are, who you've been, what you've done, and your past experiences, right? It's a difficult thing to do, because it's very easy. Just like when you give people opportunity to say something to you anonymously, there's a high chance that they might say something negative, but what they're really saying is, I'm unhappy with myself, I don't love myself, I don't like myself, and I don't like these things about myself. But again, it's easier to project that onto somebody else than it is to take responsibility for it, right? So I could focus on the negative like I used to. I used to do that all the time. I used to focus on the negative all the time. I always used to be thinking like, man, why did so-and-so say this to me? Or why did so-and-so do that to me? When I was a kid and I was liked by everybody, my natural personality was, if somebody didn't like me, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. They don't like me. Oh, well, on to the next person, right? And then a lot of times I would notice, because I was so like that, I just didn't care. I didn't give attention or energy. I didn't put any focus on that, on the fact that people were treating me like some people didn't like me for no reason. And, as a child, I never thought to myself, what can I do to make myself likable to them? I just thought, well, they don't like me. All right, so I'll forget them. I'll just go talk to somebody who does like me. I'll go hang out with the people that do like me. And I've always been that kind of person. And when I was like that, I did notice that those people that didn't like me, eventually they would come around. Maybe they didn't become my best friend, but they did want to be friendly with me. Or they would see that, like, because I was so, like, I loved myself a lot as a kid, I think. And I don't think I learned how to do that. I must have come pre-programmed with it, like factory settings. I came with that pre-programmed model. But I must have loved myself a lot as a kid. And I think that's why this book, A Lover's Compendium, and this channel and all the content that I make, I think that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I'm relearning how to love myself. Because if I'm being completely honest, I'm learning how to love myself, but I wouldn't say that I truly love myself just yet, because I do notice that when something I do that's negative, or I didn't like it, or something that I'm not proud of, I will get very negative and feel very bad about myself and beat myself up over it, instead of viewing it as like, okay, you know what, this is a learning opportunity for me to learn to not do that again. And instead of saying, hey, but what about that good thing that I did? I might have done 3 bad things, but I did 4 good things. Why can't I focus on the 4 good things? So perception is a very, very important thing, again, and it's something that you can control. And I feel like if you control how you perceive yourself, and you start perceiving yourself in a more positive light, if you start being a little bit kinder to yourself and giving yourself the benefit of the doubt, I feel like what's going to happen with that is that, like, things will get better, like, incrementally, but like overall, the grand scheme of things will get better, because you're working with a core that's vibrant now, that's beautiful, that's filled with love, that's filled with light, And, one of the negative comments that was said about me was that I don't have love, and I'm the opposite of that, and I don't know what I'm talking about. But you know what? If that person wants to think that, more power to them. But really what it's doing is she's hurting herself, and anybody who thinks like that. So again, I've been saying it, and I want to say it again. I would much rather, and I much prefer, and I would be very grateful for any likes or loves or, like, positive comments that you guys have to give me. Any positive feedback, I would love it. I also don't look forward to negative feedback, but if I see that the negative feedback is just like that, if it's hateful and it's negative, my inclination, my desire is to dig a little bit deeper, to find out what is it about yourself that you don't like that's making you feel that way about me. Because if I didn't do something, like, obviously or overtly to show you that I'm this negative character that you're picturing me as, like, what about me is triggering that in you, right? So it might not be that it's something about themselves. Also, it could be that I remind them of, like, maybe I remind her of an ex that was, like, cruel or that cheated on her. And I used to do that too. When I got cheated on, I used to, like, view all women in that way, like, oh, all women are cheaters, all women are going to be, deceptive, you can't trust a woman, they're gonna stab you in the back, they're gonna wait for the opportunity to, like, hurt you. I used to think all these things, and honestly, when I thought like that, I got fat. I got real fat. I got sick. I would always get sick. I was constantly, not in the hospital, not that sick, because I guess I didn't do it for that long. But, if it's not common knowledge to you yet, I want you to know that you could look this up. If you don't believe me, if you don't like me, if you don't trust me, that's fine. But just know that what I'm telling you, I know what the heck I'm talking about. And if I tell you something, you can go look it up, and you'll find that what I'm saying is true, because I don't talk about things unless I know. Now, if I tell you this is my opinion, or this is what I think, or this is what I believe, and I don't have a reason for that, that'll be just that. That'll be my opinion, that'll be my belief. But what I'm telling you right now, this is knowledge, this is foundation, this is something that you can go and look it up and see that the science and the research shows that it's actually true. But every time you put yourself into that negative mindset, when you're hating on somebody, or you want to, like, fight with somebody, or you wish bad things upon somebody, neurologically, what's happening inside your body is acting or reacting as if you are actually doing that harmful thing to that person, or you're even witnessing that harmful thing happening to that person. So let's say, like, let's say maybe you're not a violent person, but you wish or hope, because you don't like me, or you don't like whoever it is that you're not liking, that somebody comes and beats the crap out of that person, or hurts them, or does something terrible to them. First of all, you have to know that that's not a good, healthy behavior, right? That's not a good mindset to have. But aside from that, aside from the moral, or, like, the the implications of, like, whether it's right or wrong, you have to understand that what happens is when you're putting yourself in that mode, your body goes into fight or flight. When your body is in fight or flight, it's not good at doing the most basic things. You can't solve problems easily. If you have a problem, you're going to bang your head against it a million times and you're never going to figure it out, because your brain waves is not in a problem-solving state of being. It's in a state of being that's, like negative, that's violent, that's like warlike or whatever. So you're going to have these issues that are going to make you, first of all, think and feel worse, but then your body is going to start behaving as if these things are actually happening. So you're not running from a lion, you're not running from a tiger, you're not running from a bear, and there's no predator that's stalking you around the corner, but your body is going to react like that. And what's going to happen is you do this for, you get away with doing this for a couple of years. I think the body is kind of like, it gives us time, right? Like it's like a ticking time bomb. So it'll give you time, like maybe 1 year, 2 years, maybe even up to 5 years. You're not going to notice any serious issues, but you will probably notice that you're getting sick more often. You're feeling less energy. You're feeling more negative. You're feeling more stressed out. Therefore, your body's going to start showing up with pains. You're going to start having pains in areas that you didn't have before. And then what happens is you keep doing this for an extended amount of time, the pains are going to evolve and they'll become, in the spiritual communities, you hear this a lot, dis-ease, like D-I-S, and then they put up a dash and then ease. It's really like for disease, right? But if you think about it, like 90% or more of diseases that actually exist are induced by some sort of stress or negative reactions happening in the body. They're not genetic diseases. There's only like 1 to 2% of diseases that people have are genetic, are things that you're just gonna get no matter what. You were handed that cards, like you were given that deck. So those are things that you'll get no matter what. But for the most part, almost all the diseases that we have, my disease that I had, or the disease that I used to have, because thank God I was able to, heal it, so to speak. I had a condition called hyperinsulinemia. Another word for it is pre-diabetes, right? They call it pre-diabetes, but it works kind of the opposite of diabetes. When you have diabetes, your body doesn't get enough insulin, so you need to inject insulin and get insulin receptors and stuff like that. But when you have hyperinsulinemia or pre-diabetes, what happens is your body is not getting the right signals to the pancreas, so you're producing an overabundance of insulin. When you have an overabundance of insulin in your body, there's certain things that become close to impossible. So one of those things is losing weight. So I don't know if you guys knew this about me, but I used to weigh 344 pounds back when I decided that was it. I'm tired of being this big. I'm tired of not being able to fit. Funny enough, one of my big motivations for losing weight was I wanted to get in roller coasters. I live in Orlando, so I wanted to go to Universal. Tampa Bay is not that far, and Busch Gardens has some of the best roller coasters. And then obviously Universal, they have great roller coasters too. But I wanted to get in the roller coasters and I couldn't because I was too fat. And I chose to be fat. I wanted to become fat when I did, because at the time, women tend to like me for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because I'm confident or if it's because I'm true to myself and I don't beat around the bush or lie or try to deceive girls or people in general. I don't know if that's why women tend to gravitate a little bit towards me more than guys do. But I feel like that could be it, because I do feel like women in general, they tend to like truth more than lies. Women get cheated on a lot more than guys get cheated on. Guys do get cheated on. Obviously I did. But at the time, I thought to myself, hey, if I get fat and ugly or whatever, then, hey, girls will stop flirting with me, because my thing is that I have a very strong, lust drive, I guess. I don't want to say the word, but, I'm very, very active in that department, and I desire that a lot. So what happens is that when these girls started flirting or talking to me and wanting to get closer to me and acting in the way that girls would act when I know that they wanted to be my girlfriend kind of thing, it just started making me feel very uncomfortable, because I'm I don't want to cheat on my wife. And I asked my wife, I was like, honey, if one day I mess up and I cheat on you, what are you going to do? And she was like, well, that's it. That's the end of the relationship. So, and she told me, she's very adamant about that. She's not willing to change on that. And I was like, well, good, because I don't want to be cheated on. I don't want to cheat on you. But because she said that, I in my mind, you know, like when the cat's away, the mice will play kind of thing. In my mind, I thought to myself, ooh, I better be careful, because if I have the opportunity to cheat on my wife, I know she's not gonna tell me. But because I'm such an honest person and I hate lying, I'm probably gonna tell her, look, baby, I made this mistake, I cheated on you, and blah 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 blah, right? So if that ever happened, I was like, that's it, I'm gonna ruin my whole relationship, because I can't live with that lie, because it would crush me. It would crush my soul, my heart, my mind, whatever. I couldn't live with that lie. But you know, again, this is going back to the original topic of perception. I perceive myself as being maybe physically attractive, and I don't know if I've ever been physically attractive to women, in the sense that, like, I don't look like the guys that typically women swoon over. You know, I don't look like Brad Pitt. I don't look like Tom Cruise. At least in my generation, when I was growing up, like, those were the guys that girls were like, oh my God, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Leonardo DiCaprio. All of these guys are white guys with straight hair, blue, green eyes. You know, their complexion is totally different than mine. Their facial features are different than mine. So I never thought as a child or as a young man that I was attracted to women, because I was like, I don't look like all these quote unquote hot guys that, you know, women are all about. So I never thought anything of it. But then, like, for some reason they would always gravitate to me anyway. So it's kind of confusing as a kid. I didn't quite get why girls liked me, and why something, you know, and why they would even like approach me in that way, because I was never looking for that kind of thing. But back to the main point, right? We were talking about the sickness and the disease. Yeah, so sickness and disease, it's something that you're more prone to. Your body's more weak to it when you're in a state of hatred. Hating is not the natural state of a human being. Children are not born hating. They're not born like negative. They're not born judging. As a matter of fact, if you notice, little kids are like the least judgmental until they start to get to like that age where, you know, they're learning all their bad habits from their parents, and, you know, maybe other kids around them that are learning those bad habits from their parents. Like, when children are very young, they don't judge you. They don't have things like racism or bigotry or misogyny or any of these other, like, you know, negative things. Like, you never see anybody calling a young child that's like 2 to 3 years old a Nazi, right? I'm Jewish, so if I'm a Nazi, I mean, I guess I'm a self-hating Nazi or something. But anyway, aside from that, you know, I don't agree with a lot of the politics and a lot of this stupid name calling that people do. But more importantly, like, I wanted to talk about perception, because I wanted you to understand, if you don't like me, let's say you perceive me as like that one person did. They perceive me as being like negative and being the opposite of everything that it is that I'm doing and that I'm coming across as, right? Because like I've told you guys before, with me, what you see is what you get. So I'm never gonna like show you guys something. Like, if I'm in a bad mood, like if I'm in a terrible mood, I probably won't even make a video unless like maybe I have a following that wants to see like how you handle those things. But like, you know, I have bad days, man. I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna be like one of those spiritual leaders or like self-help people that acts like they have everything together and everything is perfect and they don't make mistakes, so therefore they're an expert and they're an authority. You know, if it's gonna take me longer to build my expert or authority status in terms of what I'm saying, then so be it. But if I build that, it's going to be because you're going to see that the things that I'm telling you are true, they're verifiable, and if you can't verify them in scientific literature, which I do tend to study up a lot on, if you can't verify it scientifically, you'll be able to see that, hey, if I try this stuff that this guy is mentioning, it actually works. Like, go ahead and try it, you know? Go ahead and try, like, the next time you hate on somebody, whether you're in traffic and somebody cuts you off and they're just flipping the bird at you, and that pisses you off and you're angry or you're upset about it, you know, instead of focusing on the fact that that person did that, maybe you can give it as much thought as thinking, oh wow, that person's having a bad day. All right, but it's not really with me. It's not with me. It's not me that they're hating. They're hating on everything else in the world, and I just happen to be in the way. You know, if you could think about it like that, if you could actually do that without internally making it this dialogue of like, oh, what did I do? Or like, what's their problem? I didn't do anything to them. Like, why the F are they coming at me like this? Like, why are they saying bad things about me? Why are they hating on me? If you can do just that slight little shift of viewing it as like, you know, that person might have been having a bad day and it's nothing to do with me. Like, they were going to do that to me. They're going to do that to whoever else is going too slow for their taste or cutting them off or whatever. So try doing it and pay attention to how you feel. And if you want to be really, really brave and you want to really like be a scientist about it, you want to approach it in a scientific perspective or way, try giving into that negative feelings and observe, pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to what you're thinking and what you're feeling, right? Like, you're going to notice that what you're feeling doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel positive. It doesn't feel nice or whatever. And then try to change it. And when you're able to shift it, at first, in the beginning, it's going to be hard. And for some people, you might get it on the first try. For other people, it might take you multiple attempts. But I promise you that it's worth it. Try to see the difference of when you're actually able to feel like, you know what? Yes, that pissed me off. Like, don't lie to yourself, because that's going to make it so much more difficult. Just be honest with yourself. Say, okay, yes, what that person did right now, that upset me. That pissed me off. I didn't like that they said X, Y, and Z about me. I didn't like that they judged me in a way that's not representative of who I actually am or what I'm actually, presenting myself as. So you can say that, you can acknowledge that. But what you shouldn't do is you shouldn't keep replaying it in your brain. You shouldn't keep replaying it in your body, because what your body's going to do is your body's going to say, oh, they like this, so I'm going to keep doing it for them automatically. And then what's going to happen is that you're not even going to notice after a while that you're doing that. And it could be that if you pay attention to this video, and you might actually go back and observe things in your memory, in your past, where you're going to be like, oh crap, that is kind of true. Like, I just do this automatically. I didn't even notice that I was saying this terrible thing about somebody, or that I was judging somebody, or that I was, acting this aggressively. You might not even notice, because your body is going to make it an automatic habit after a while. And your body wants you, just like, okay, so there's this concept that the universe is going to support you unconditionally, right? Unconditionally. By definition of saying unconditional means that there are no conditions attached, meaning there's no positive or negative conditions attached. That's unconditional, whatever. So in this case, unconditional love. The universe loves you unconditionally. If you want to choose to believe that you're a terrible person and that you suck and that you deserve the worst, the universe says, okay, I'll give you more reasons to believe that, because it's giving you unconditional love. It's giving you the ability to co-create with it, right? But I think at a certain level, at a cellular and at a molecular level, your body does the same thing. Your body loves you unconditionally, right? Because it's your body. It's here to get you through life. It's here to navigate you through all the stuff that's going on. So if you keep feeding your body negative junk, your body's going to say, oh, okay, so this user or whatever, this person that's controlling me, the body, it likes this negative stuff. It feels good when it gets negative, because what we don't know is that you're getting this little quick hit of dopamine and endorphins every time you do that, because your body's giving it to you as a reaction of, you like negative stuff, so I'm going to unconditionally keep giving you negative stuff. What is good, beautiful people? This is CGR here, the author of A Lover's Compendium, coming to you with the excitement and the fire, and trying to ask you guys to please like, comment, share, and subscribe, because I would love to help you. I want to be of service, but in order for me to do that, I need you to help with the algorithm to get me out there. And yeah, that's it. And I just wanted to say that I'm here walking home with my beautiful, beautiful wife. Look at that beautiful girl. She's wonderful. I love her. And yeah, if you guys can just show some support and get the message out there. My job is to help you, help me help you, and see you later, and love better. I hope that this video serves you, and I hope that it really, that you're able to see that whether you like me or you don't like me, whether you love me or you don't love me, if you do like me and if you do love me, please let me know, because that's very encouraging, and it's very, I'm going to make content regardless of what people think right now, because I feel like I'm very passionate about this mission, and I want to speak the truth, and I want to help people. And you might not like me, and if you don't, that's fine, but at least allow me to serve you and test what I say. Put it to the test in your own life. If you see that it doesn't work and you see that I'm just full of crap, then just dismiss me, disregard me, don't watch my videos, don't waste your time with me. Like, I'm not going to be able to help you. If you try the things and you see that it doesn't work, there's nothing I can do for you, so there's basically no point, so you could just ignore it. But if you see that I'm actually providing you with information that could actually help you and that could make you live a life that's just a little bit better than it was yesterday, if you can notice that and pay attention to that, let me know in the comments. Let me know that I'm serving you, because that's what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this as an act of self-love, but I'm also doing it to serve others. I want to love myself better so that I can love others better, because I don't want to be selfish, I don't want to be self-centered. But until I learn how to give myself that respect and give myself the love, like, imagine how you would love a child or a pet. Children and pets, they get our love, and we become fierce with our love. We become protective of them. We become very, kind and compassionate to them. Do that for yourself, and tell me how you feel in the morning. Take that as a doctor's prescription. Tell me how you feel in the morning. All right, so I'm getting to the place where I'm going to go. This has been Driving Wisdom number 2 with CGR, and stuck in traffic right now. But yeah, I'm just going to tell you guys, see you later. Love better.